Ready to soundtrack your summer? With Red Bull Summer All Day Play, you choose a playlist that fits your summer vibe the best. Are you a festival fanatic, a deep-end DJ, a road dog, or a trail mixer? Just add a song to your chosen playlist and put your summer on track. Red Bull Summer All Day Play. Red Bull gives you wings. Visit redbull.com/brightsummer ahead to learn more. See you this summer.
Last night, you spent 2 hours deciding what to wear to the party. This morning, it'll take you 2 minutes to list it on Depop and make your money back. Just grab your phone, snap a few photos, and we'll take care of the rest. The sheer dress and platform heels you'll never wear again? There's a birthday girl searching for them right now. Your one-and-done look is about to pay for your next night out. Or at least the ride home. Your style can make you cash. Start selling on Depop, where taste recognizes taste.
And action! Hello and welcome to episode 379 of the Filmmakers podcast. This is a podcast where we talk filmmaking. From indie film to studio films to
the high-end TV and everything in between.
How to get them made, how to make them, how to try not to
royally F them up.
In our very, very humble opinion. I'm Jos Alderson.
I'm Dom Lenoir.
Welcome to this week's episode. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are well. Because we have another special guest for you. Oh yeah. We have Mahalia Belo. She is the director of The End We Start From, the Jodie Comer, Mark Strong, Benedict Cumberbatch, Joel Fry starring movie, which is out in cinemas now. And Dom got to sit down with Mahalia and have a great chat.
Certainly did.
What did you talk about? So exciting.
Talked about all kinds of stuff.
Great.
It was
hopefully filmmaking.
Yes, yeah. It was quite a surreal experience actually, because obviously I was there to speak to Mahalia. It's one of these big sort of hotel setups, Corinthia, I think it was. Massive sort of press operation, and I was just thinking on the way, it'd be quite nice to speak to Jodie. I wish I'd asked for an interview. I couldn't remember if I had or not, but obviously the director's a great gig. And
yep.
So I asked, okay, cool, can I get set up in the room, because it's nice to get your recording equipment, and it always takes longer than you think, and you're always like fumbling for the bloody recording equipment as the guest comes in. So I was like, okay, well, I'll get in, I'll go and get set up. I'll just go in and get myself nice and relaxed, and make a nice start to the interview. I walk into this room, and it's like this full blown like battle scene of makeup teams and like makeup boards everywhere, like different desks, people standing around and bustling, and I'm sort of walking like a startled deer. And right in the middle of it is Jodie Comer, and being incredibly British and taken off guard. I think all I managed to say was like, "Oh shit, sorry."
So you basically walked into the wrong room?
No, it's the right room, but I just didn't realise that the room I was going to be interviewing the director in was in the middle of Jodie Comer getting ready for her TV interview in the other room.
Right.
So I start sitting down, I'm like, oh fucking hell, I'm setting up, and she's trying to get ready for her interview.
Well, so she's there.
Yeah.
While you're setting up.
Yeah. She's just there having a makeup finishing.
I thought you'd got out the room and said, "Oh, wrong room," and waited outside or something.
No, because I was invited in. So there was nothing wrong. It was just the fact that I completely wasn't expecting to just walk in and Jodie Comer's there.
Brilliant.
So,
and what did you do? Did you have a chat with her? You chatted about the weather, the film.
Well, I sat down and just sort of suddenly, like, it all happens quite quickly, and then I was like, she was obviously being taken out, so I was like, oh, Jodie, well done on the film, and both times, she sort of turned around and said hello, and had a friendly sort of whatever powwow. There was just like a huge air of just friendliness and welcoming, and like, there was no like barrier that you sometimes get in these kind of situations.
That's nice. Were you a little starstruck, Dom?
I was a little bit starstruck. I wasn't prepared for it. I was kind of getting ready for a director interview, and
suddenly you meet superstar.
Jodie Comer.
Yeah. And she's amazing in this film, The End We Start From.
She is absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
She holds the screen. She's wonderful. She holds a baby for most of it.
Yeah.
And
that was a good one.
Thanks. And she's just really just encapsulates the screen.
Yes, she does.
She really does, and it's amazing.
It's a brilliant performance. And Joel Fry is also. I mean, they're all amazing. Mark Strong's incredible. Joel Fry is a really underrated actor. There's a lot of great supports as well. It's just a greatly acted, very empathy-filled film. It
is produced by Liza Marshall, who has been on this podcast. We will put a link to an episode with her. It's also produced by Adam Ackland. Very much so. Leah Clark and Sophie Hunter, as well as Amy Jackson and Liza Marshall. Cinematographer is Susie Lavelle. She's done an amazing job here. She did Normal People, His Dark Materials as well. She's wonderful, and it was composed by Anna Meredith, who is just great. But this is based on the book by Megan Hunter, and Alice Birch has done the screenplay.
Yeah, previous guest from our classic The Wonder episode from last year.
Yes, indeed. We'll put a link to that as well. And it was cast by Shaheen Baig, who is just on everyone's lips this last couple of years. He cast Lady Macbeth, Black Mirror, After Love. She's just the next big casting director superstar. So what did you and Mahalia talk about, Dom? What will our audience learn from this?
We talked about why cinema is a healing machine, which is such a great concept, and I really liked her. I couldn't agree more on that sort of idea. We talked about screening at Toronto and the feeling of releasing a movie to that audience. We talked about adapting a novel and working with the screenwriter and that collaboration.
Yeah, interesting. I've already edited this episode, and I actually really enjoyed listening to the two of you. I do feel you did exceptionally well with your questions, Dom. I thought it was excellent. I really enjoyed the chat. I thought Mahalia was fantastic. It was really insightful and honest and open, which I think will help our filmmakers out there. I liked what she was talking about as trying to keep the emotional truth in the film. She also talked about writing letters to cast, and she couldn't remember if she'd written a letter to Jodie or not, but she feels she had. But if she had, she was unsure of whether they actually read them or not, how much of a difference it makes.
Yeah.
And you've got a really good response to that, but we'll save that for the episode. You also talked about the push and pull between cast and financial, how that affects you trying to get a film made, working with babies, working with cinematographer Susie, what it was like to flood a set. And then even after her success, because she was nominated at Sundance for a short film volume, there are still difficulties for filmmakers. It's not an instant success story if you have success with a short or with a feature. She also won a BIFA for that short as well. And some of her other credits, Mahalia's credits, include a couple of short films, including Southwesterly, Stray, and Volume, as I've mentioned, Volume, as well as Advent. And that was kind of, an 8 to 10 year hiatus before she made a feature debut as a director at The End We Start From. But she also made the TV movie as a director, Ellen, which starred Joe Cole, as well as doing TV miniseries. She directed 6 episodes of Requiem and 3 episodes of The Long Song. So that is for you. That is coming up for you in that episode with Dom and Mahalia Belo very soon. Next Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have, very likely, Matthew Vaughn.
Whoa.
Yeah. Wait, I just dropped that in like it was nothing. We have Matthew Vaughn, ladies and gentlemen, on the podcast, if all goes well. We haven't recorded it yet. So hopefully me and Dom are sitting down with Matthew this coming week. He's known for Kick-Ass, X-Men First Class, Kingsman, Layer Cake. He's just a bit of a legend. He runs Mar Films, and he's here to talk about
filmmaking,
Argyle, and filmmaking. I imagine, we hope. He might not. He might just talk about green suits.
Yeah,
I've no idea. Basically, that's what
Giles likes to talk about.
It is, but that's also what they wear in Argyle. So that's my connection to it. So that's next Tuesday. But also, we have a giveaway for you, don't we, Dom?
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to take a shot with these things.
Yes, and you have to list those things down, which gives us Shot Lister. Now, Shot Lister you've probably heard us talk about in the past. Basically, Shot Lister is the world's leading shot list app. Phil Hawkins swears by this. He swears a lot. Locked picture on Robin and the Hood, so huge congratulations to him. Well done, Phil. But Shotlister is the app he uses all the time. It's the Shotlister app, and with detailed shooting schedule features, it helps you get what matters most on the day. And if you use this code on any iOS device, you get a free year of Shotlister Pro 5.0. It's usually worth $99, and we're giving you it for free. We're only giving away 99 of these, so get in quick, get in there now. Link to that is in the show notes.
What a generous
Literally, whatever you're
eh?
doing, listen to this now. Go on that, the show notes now, and literally click the link. It is free for a year for you as filmmakers, to help you. This is what we do. Link to that, and also how to use it. We'll do a YouTube app as well, is in the show notes. But for more info, go to shotlister.com. So huge shouts out to Zach Leposki, who runs it, along with Sharon Bliss, for giving you this amazing thing. Shotlister, get it for free right now. Whoa. Right.
It's a pretty good little episode ahead. I'd like to
Big yourself up.
No, I don't want to big myself up. No, I just want to say it's really nice. I always, regardless of whether I like the film and I'm promoting it, I always like to promote great people, and Mahalia, and Jodie as well, and the whole team. You just get a sense of like really genuine people making genuine films. So let's wish them success. Yeah,
it's one that should be watched.
It's definitely a film that you should watch this award season. There we go.
There we go. I know it was one of Dom's favourite films.
Yes, it was, yeah.
And I loved it too. I think it's fantastic. So, here it is. This is Dom and Mahalia Belo talking all about the end we start from and filmmaking in general, and so many tips and tricks for you, filmmakers. So enjoy.
Do you want to go and have some dinner?
Well, I don't know you.
I don't know you either. Could be a disaster.
It isn't real anymore.
Hi.
What you miss doesn't exist.
What's going on? I'm just like having a moment,
So, welcome to the Filmmakers podcast.
Hi.
Big congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
I think every awards season there's one film that really blows me away that I think isn't getting enough credit, and I think this is the film. Like, I watched it and I just thought, what an incredible emotional journey, what brilliant, brave, complex performances, and also like what an accurate depiction of what could happen. Like, there was a real dreadful feeling of the world could be this, with the floods, even in the last week or so.
Yeah, I think we there was always the question of when is this? And we sort of treated it as though it could happen tomorrow. It wouldn't, not that it could happen, but this is tomorrow. We didn't set it in the future, didn't set it in the past, just tomorrow.
Yeah.
To keep it, it's easier to work with that way, but also there's a feeling that we wanted to make sure that it felt rooted in something that tangible, as opposed to being outside over there, in the deep distance of future.
So how does it feel to have it out and getting people's reactions about it?
It's been good. I mean, it hasn't gone out to audiences yet.
No, more the sort of critics
festival.
of the world.
Yeah. So I've had such a good time. I've been, I've been able
Toronto?
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah. I mean, I was so nervous. There's something. I mean, I've been wanting to make my first feature since I was a kid, I suppose, and then realizing, I think it hit me. It was a really big cinema as well. It was massive. It was a huge audience. And kind of there's a kind of green room before you go up on the stage to present the film, and I was introduced by Cameron Bailey, I think, and he said it's Mahalia's first feature, and I burst out crying.
Wow.
Before I walked on, just because it's something just sort of
Clicked.
It just hit me. It completely caught me by surprise. The realization that journey had been so long to get that film made, and then now it was about to kind of be opened out to people.
It is such an emotional journey to get films made, especially I think if you make films that, if you make films from a place of wanting to tell powerful internal stories and things that personally trigger you. It's not just about a career goal or something along those lines. It's actually the struggle of trying to validate these things that you're putting out to the world, which you really believe in.
Yeah, that too. I think, that especially this one did feel pretty close to me for a few different reasons. But I think also, cinema is has been my happy place, my special place for so long, and I think somewhere I go to kind of heal, to do so many different things to help myself, and then suddenly to realise that I was putting something on one of those screens, and it felt monumental for me personally. And then afterwards it was great because I would walk down streets in Toronto. Toronto is an amazing city, and then just people would come and talk to me, and these women especially would come.
That's amazing.
And it felt like those who connected with the film it really met them, and that felt like job done in many ways because some people really, really felt it, and I felt like, okay, that's what we aim to do.
I always feel like that's the success of a film. It's not whether it sort of ticks some boxes in terms of how clever it is or that kind of thing. It's whether it actually affects someone. And what you said about healing is such a, like, cinema, I really do believe is a tool where someone can go in and they've got some struggle going on in their life, and that film can just heal that little puzzle or part of themselves. And I really feel like this has that element. Sort of
massive empathy machine.
Empathy machine, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So how did it sort of come about? How did this film start? How did you come up with the book? Was it an adaptation?
Yeah. So when the book was first published, or just before I got sent it, and it resonated with me, and it stuck with me for a long time. And I actually gave it to people as presents. It was one of those books where I was like, this is looking at the world in a very different way. And especially people who had babies, but actually now is probably maybe the wrong thing to do when people are pregnant, to give them this book because of, I don't know. But I felt like it described that experience of being a first-time parent.
Yeah.
Even without the flood, which is very much part of the book. But actually, that first year of having a baby is like the most life-changing experience that anyone can ever really have. That's probably a gross exaggeration, but it is pretty life-changing.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the big, isn't it?
Yeah, and as a woman, your body changes. Everything about you is, shifts as a result of kind of carrying this child, and then you've got this other year where your sole kind of purpose is to raise and teach and bring up and see the world through this baby's eyes. So I really connected with it, and it's so beautifully written. It's this kind of morsels of poetry that kind of kept like humming around. And then I kind of left it. I was worried about the adaptation of it as a film because I was worried that there would be a need to make it overly dramatic.
And did you see? Was it Alice Birch? Is that right?
So Alice Birch wrote.
Yeah, because we did The Wonder with her.
Yeah, she's amazing.
So how was that? How was that adaptation process?
So she had written. So a few years later, just after COVID, I got Alice's script, and she'd managed to tell this story so brilliantly, without any fat on it at all. Just like there, present, brilliant dialogue for actors. And it was so exciting. And so when I got asked if I wanted to do it, I was like, yeah, please. And immediately found myself like pulling pictures and writing and kind of being inspired by both the book and both what Alice had done. And then Alice and I worked together for a bit prior to just redeveloping the film further.
So what were some of your inputs, maybe, or areas where you wanted to tweak the vision so that it was more personal to you?
I think I think probably I didn't want it to feel too bleak. So I wanted to have this kind of feeling of hope running through it. So despite what's going on, the actual focus is on this child, and so that there was a kind of line of hope running through, and humour as well, making sure that was really present.
Yeah.
And because I think a lot of being a parent is ridiculous, and like those kind of I remember with my first kid, I was like on my own for a bit because my partner was away shooting, and I just remember just talking to my kid as though he were an adult. He was like 3 months old. And then, like, you know, I think I told him the whole of the story of Oliver Twist, you know, which, you know, and so, you know, things like that. So we put in Grease and that kind of, you know, when you're alone with a baby, it's the only other companion, and that kind of very specific dialogue that you can have. And then what else? I think it all happened quite organically. I think, you know, Alice is a sort of a master collaborator as well as a master writer in her own right. And so kind of a lot of things we kind of inspired each other, you know, and she's got this really good taste. You know, her taste is really incomparable.
Taste is such a big thing, especially when you're doing a sort of a co-writing piece, because, you know, as you say, you almost become two minds that are, you know, ping-ponging backwards and forwards, and it sort of keeps going up on and becoming this new sort of wonderful thing. But if the two people don't agree on the tone even, or the kind of dialogue, or which direction the characters are going, it can be a really difficult sort of co-writing process. So, like, taste is such a vital part of the process.
And respect for each other's taste.
Respect, of course, yeah.
I think that's, like, I really respected Alice's taste and take on the world, and I felt this similarly from her. I felt like she had it for me, and so it became pretty organic. And, you know, I left her alone. Like, she would go and like come back with something that was much better than I could ever imagine. You know, she has this quality to her, ability to do that. So it felt quite natural, the whole process. And we all had to change the script because of budget and other elements like that, you know, that informed how we could maneuver through the story.
So what were some of the creative choices that were affected by budget? Like, how did you find those challenges and work out compromises that worked really well? Because, I mean, it still feels like a very expansive film, like, especially the London sections feel like very big, and they feel very... they feel very, like, well polished, actually. Like, you know, for sci-fi can be very, you know, get it wrong very easily.
Yeah.
And then you've got the remoteness of the kind of the outer sort of countryside stuff and the coast and the island.
I think in the most part we kind of were trying to keep a sort of an emotional truth running through the scale of it as well. So does that make sense? So when we see London later, it's coming from a place from Jodie's point of view.
Yes. Yeah,
so
sure, yeah.
When, you know, when her mind is in the right space to see it like that, we can see it like that. So it never felt, I didn't want anything that felt like just put in for the sake of it, you know.
So like not endless establishing shots and let's show a massive disaster.
Yeah, this was the kind of the frame in which, so someone's at the door. Yep. Hello. Oh, I'm sorry. That would be my coffee.
So, there we are. Your coffee.
Sorry.
That's all right.
So, 7th cup of the morning. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
They do good coffee at the Corinthian.
I mean, this place is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice, yeah. With the strange levitating
I know.
headboards.
I do miss the bed. There's no bed, and I do miss it because I feel like, you could just like sit down and relax.
Yeah.
So where were we? We were talking about...
So not having unnecessary visual stuff from a budget perspective, but also keeping the emotional truth. Yeah,
I think that also wasn't just a budget thing. I think that was very much within the mode of storytelling from the get-go. But the way in which we allowed for it to kind of open out into the world was always from her. And then it didn't feel like we were sort of tacking it on for the sake of it. And so that you keep this internal through line kind of rooted there. I think as soon as if we broke out of it too much, we would feel the kind of the handiwork of the genre, of a particular genre.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think one of the things that I found really well done about the film as well in this territory is that you don't show everything about this natural disaster. You keep it out of mind. And in some films, it feels like things have been left out because they've cut a scene or just been like, let's just cut this because it costs too much, or, you know, poor storytelling. In your one, it feels very deliberate that it actually adds to the mystery and this really personal journey that they're both going on, where they don't know what's going on in the larger picture. And it feels like you've done an excellent job of showing just enough of the world building whilst not kind of focusing too much on... Actually, I suppose it would lower the tension by seeing the sort of the wider picture of what's going on.
Yeah. I think I had just had a kid through the kind of lockdown with COVID, and I felt this, there was so much going on in the world, yet I just had this baby, and that was my main focus. And the pressure from outside felt huge. What were we doing the right thing? Were we not doing the right thing? All of the kind of questions around it, the fear, the clapping, all that. And I think there was the sort of sense that we kind of bringing that, now knowing what happens when something goes wrong and how you have to sort of, you are just in your little pod kind of coping and going through it, and wanted to bring that experience to the screen. But also there is something about, if we had sort of seen like massive chaos, I think that it would have undermined the actual kind of core of the story, which is the first year of having a baby is something that completely unravels you. Yeah.
No, I agree, and I think it works perfectly. And the strength of her bond is so apparent, especially when sort of later on in the film she gets to the island and there's the arguments of, oh, just stay here, and but she has this knowing that what she has to do for the future of her kid, and it's really really sort of powerful. So how did the casting process sort of start to, well, actually, and how did you even sort of get it made after you got this script coming to you, and you started the collaboration? Was the producing team already in place?
Yeah, so Sonny March were there.
Okay, so let's go back to that, how that sort of came about.
Yeah, so Sonny March were there. It was their baby. That and Hera, Liza Marshall at Hera had it. Yeah. So they had the project, and I went in to meet them. And then who else? I think BBC were on board from the get-go. Okay. And then BFI came on later, and then Anton came on to finance. And casting was hard because it was so budget dependent. But Jodie was amazing, and she was our first choice, first bit of casting. And I'm really pleased, actually. I kind of can't imagine this film with anyone else.
Yeah, it is hard to sort of picture someone else in the role, isn't it? Now you've seen her in it. She's so incredibly good.
Yeah, perfect.
And Joel Fry as well.
Joel Fry.
He's really good. He's just he's an underrated gem again.
I feel like that. I'd worked with him on Requiem before.
Yes, okay, yeah.
And I sort of could see what he was capable of, and he's done loads of stuff as well, but I kind of knew he'd always played these kind of comedic characters, but I sort of also know that he had these, not always, he's obviously done quite a lot with Ben Wheatley and things like that, but I think he's synonymous with comedy, but he has these great depths, and he's a very present actor. He's quite aware of everything. He's got this capacity to sort of feel out everything, and really brilliant at improvisation. Which there wasn't like tons of, but there were it helped with moments of spontaneity, even between takes and things like that, to have that presence. He's wonderful. And we did a chemistry read between Jodie and Joel, and it sort of came alive really quickly. You can kind of feel the humanity sort of brewing, that the fears of being a parent, all of those kind of layers that are quite hard to pull off within the text was really there. The vulnerability, but also the kind of the boldness and the all the qualities you would feel for a brand new parent at the very beginning, before you know anything. And that came away from that feeling really excited about a cast and
So how did you, what was the process of getting them casted? Was it just, okay, we're going to send them the script, we've got a great team, we've got a great producer, here's my body of work, or were there did you write like a personalised letter to them?
I would write letters, I think.
Because they're a tricky one to get right. Like how long is the letter? How much detail do you go into? Because you want it to feel personal, but also not waffly and overselling,
It's a
the
very
warmth them in a role.
Thing.
Isn't it?
You know, I can't write a letter.
It's like a letter to Santa, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Please, sir.
Be in my film.
Be in my movie. I can't write letters to people unless I feel it. Yes. And I have been asked to do that in the past, and it can't do it. I think it has to come from the heart in some way and be quite honest as well. And Yeah, I hate doing them because I would much prefer just to have a chat.
I know,
you know,
yeah. Well, that's the problem is you can't just go in and say, can I have a chat with the actor and convince them casually over it, because you have to.
No, and fair enough.
Yeah,
like
fair
there's so
enough.
much floating about and everyone's really busy, so I get it. And I wonder if anyone reads them.
Yeah.
I mean,
I do
I
wonder.
don't wonder.
Yeah,
I do wonder.
know.
I think it's just like, is it something like the agent will not pass on the script unless there's a letter there.
Maybe the agent reads it. Maybe that's the secret. Maybe the agent's
I need to ask the question.
Yeah, I've tried asking a couple of actors, and I haven't really got one or two have said, "Oh, we just look at the script," but I don't know. I feel like
I believe that actually.
Yeah.
I do believe that, because I think there's just something inherently awkward about someone begging you to be in their project. You know, no one wants to experience that on some level. Like just to know it's there is enough, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, and that you've taken the time to. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's from an agent's point of view. It's that they've taken the time to think about it.
Yeah.
And that's what they're looking at as an agent in terms of, okay, well, this person is good for the role because they understand my actor and they have an understanding of how to work with actors and those kind of things. Maybe it's more of a test for the agents.
And you know what it probably is? It's probably just to see that it's just not financiers desperate for a certain name.
Yes.
And that actually it's coming from a true place.
Yeah.
Because I think you could see that happening, couldn't you? If you could just like get an actor without any director involvement, everyone would, you know, be like, oh, this is this many points on whatever scale that, you know, seems completely unimportant in reality. But
do you find that as a difficult thing to navigate? Because I mean, I feel like the actor or actress in a film is just as important to be right for how you see the film as it is for them to be a good actor or actress, because it's a personal script. It's something that's embodying your feelings. Therefore, you have to have an actor that is doing the same thing. And often you're thrown these names. Okay, go with this person, go with that person. Like I always internalizing actors, especially for drama, is so important. I think. And there's certain actors that maybe don't do that so much, which I would think would be doing the script a disservice and actually a commercial disservice, if that makes sense. Do you have any of those kind of struggles, or have you in your career?
Well, with this, not so much.
Not with this one, obviously.
No. But no, honestly, not with this one, because you know it's an independent project. There's barely any money in it. Everyone was working for next to nothing, and it's not like it's a very particular kind of movie. You know, it's got scale, but it's definitely internal scale, and I think anyone who came on board did it for the love of cinema, you know, more than anything else. So I was quite lucky in that I had absolutely no assholes. You know, I had everyone was there to make something.
Not
together.
even one.
Not even one. I honestly didn't, and you know, I was very lucky on that front. You know, and I think it's probably the nature of the project that sort of kind of would sieve out anyone who wasn't right. But yeah, I think there is a kind of push and pull in getting a film financed between, you know, ridiculous names that might not be right. But at the same time, I imagine, you know, I think I quite like the unexpected, and you could kind of imagine, all right, this is an odd casting, but actually give it a moment just before I'd kind of poo-poo it out the door, give it a moment. Often it would be like absolutely wrong, but you have to give it a second because you have to know, you have to feel out whether it could be really interesting for that particular actor to do something.
Yeah, I mean, being open-minded and seeing someone that's done snippets of something, and then the first time they do it, as soon as you see it, it's immediately obvious. Oh, they could always do that. Yeah. But until you see it, it's quite hard to get into that space. But I suppose it's the open-mindedness that's
I had
key.
I had a fight. I'm not going to go into
sure.
on one project, and the producer was amazing in the end, because it was quite a big fight between the financier. It was for television, between the financier and me, and there was a sort of sense that it should be a kind of slightly more bigger profile actor, but who wasn't the right heritage, and a lot of different issues with that. And they were coming from a really kind of different perspective. And it would have made a difference, perhaps to the selling of the project and things like that, which I could completely understand. But at the same time, I knew the particular story we're telling, it had to be...
Yeah.
Sometimes it has to be really authentic. It really had to be right. And the producer turned around and was like, I'm a producer, not a director. I'm going to tell you why you need to do all this, but I'll, make sure that you can choose exactly what you want, because that's my job. And I was, and that producer is an amazing producer. And I just felt so respected in that moment, and I knew it was right. Like sometimes if I had any doubts at all, I would be listening more, but I knew, and and it was the right call. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a reputation that sometimes directors can be flippant, and it's I want this person or I want that. But I think if you care about the source material, a lot of these decisions really come from wanting to make a film that feels real, and it's from that place. It's from a good place. It's not from a commercial sort of naivety or fighting back. Yeah, and absolutely, you want your film to be seen or your project to be seen and to be embraced, and it is much easier with certain people. Yeah. And also, your budget is so dependent on that, and that's what I discovered with indie film. It's entirely independent on that sort of thing, which is a challenge, Yeah. So what was the preparation point? You've got the actors involved. What's your sort of casting, the HODs? Mm-hmm. Do you do mood boards? Do you do sort of pitch decks? Let's talk about that and the whole world building and how you chose to shoot it. So it with this particular project, there's always I find I have different processes for each project. With this one, it sort of fell out of me quite quickly. And I pulled together quite a lot of images, mood boards from life and from, references that I found really exciting. And pulled it together and sort of broke down the film in stages, and sort of had a journey within the language that would be we'd follow through for that, and that ended up being something I would look back to and everybody had, and then I would do for myself mainly, and then I'd share it if it felt important for every day. I would either pull some of the same images or find other things for each separate scene, and then write what the scene is about, the feeling of the scene, and just sort of as a because it's quite we were running on quite a quick schedule, so I just needed to find what's the gut of each thing, and so that I could, or the smell of it, and so I could go back and go, is this smelling right? Is what we're doing right? It doesn't feel like the thing that I set out to do. And that's basically, and then obviously we kind of shot list. Me and Susie Lavelle would shot list. But, a lot of that had to, there were things that weren't controllable on this set, which was so different from everything I'd done before because of the babies, Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, let's just talk about the logistics of the babies for a second, for people that are trying to shoot movies with babies. You can't shoot very long, I'm guessing. No. It's 20 minutes a hit, I think. 20 minutes a hit. Okay, so you've got to be very well set up, not having the camera doing something complicated that is going to go wrong maybe, or... Yeah, I think if we were doing something that was a little bit larger with camera work, we would probably use a fake baby and not make it completely visible. But it kind of added an intimacy to the whole thing because we always wanted to capture the baby if the baby was on set, we had a kind of rotating baby system. How many babies did you use? I think it was about 7 in the end. Okay. But we, because the baby ages, it's running through a year. Yes. So it kind of moves through. And it's interesting. You have to have chaperones. Yes. Who are I've discovered are amazing and brilliant contortionists. They get into the smallest of spaces. So they can be there. So any car scene with a baby, the chaperone is generally on the floor. By the baby, you can, on camera, but out of shot, there is a chaperone somewhere near that baby, which is amazing. I'm going to be seeing that every time I watch a baby now. Yeah, but they're there, and they're really they're a massive part of it because they also have a real sense of the feelings of the child and whether they're going to be in a good mood. I think it needs a feed. This was a good time to get crying. You've got 20 minutes before that it needs to go and get a feed. Now would be good. Things like that. But it had a massive impact on our shooting schedule And also because it's essentially a road movie, we're kind of moving all the time. That makes it always challenging when you're shooting anyway, because you're having to move constantly. There's no kind of stability at the centre. Yeah. So we had to be on our feet, on our toes. We're always on our feet, but on our toes quite a bit. And that made us we had to kind of get into a pattern of rethinking things and being quite organic and in tune. I found myself trying to be as present as I could possibly be. That was my thing. Just be really listening to the actors, listening to the performance, be present, looking at what we're doing, and then responding accordingly, which is slightly different to what I would usually do.
What would you usually do?
I plan a lot, I'd have a lot of storyboards, and I'd be it would be a different thing, whereas this one had to be organic.
And it does feel organic, and it feels very, very just real. And lived in, and I suppose for the actors it's very organic as well. When they've got a baby, they have to acclimatise and get to know each other as well, and that's something that you don't ever question.
Yeah,
so that part's obviously done very well.
Marvel Television's Wonder Man, an 8-episode series, now streaming on Disney+.
A superhero remake, not exactly what we'd expect from an Oscar-winning director.
Action! Simon Williams, audition for Wonder Man.
I'm gonna need you to sign this, assuming you don't have superpowers.
I'll never work again if anyone found out.
My lips are sealed.
Marvel Television's Wonder Man. All 8 episodes now streaming, only on Disney+.
It was amazing what the babies brought to each scene, actually, in terms of the performances and the feeling that it would just change the nature of the scene. If a baby made a noise, they would respond, or being able to kind of improvise a little bit with the child when the baby's meant to be asleep and not asleep, and it's like, can you go to sleep now, please?
Yeah.
I mean, that was very real.
Well, it gives the actors an active goal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a constant. I can't remember what it was. I saw something in. Someone was offering blueberries to the other actors in a set, and it was just by giving them something to do, it then changes the whole recipe, and it just becomes a thing.
Yeah.
So can we talk a little bit about the cinematography and how you decided to put that together, that collaboration as well?
Well, Susie's a phenomenal cinematographer, and she's shot a lot on film as well, and I knew I wanted to shoot this on film. I usually work with a cinematographer called Chloe Thompson.
Okay.
But she was having a baby, hilariously enough. So it was kind of a new experience for me. And Susie is she's just got a naturalism to her that's just, she kind of lives and breathes naturalism, which worked really, really well. And her lighting is extraordinary, just the kind of the beauty of it and the simplicity of it. It's really unfussy. She's wicked.
Yeah. And what about the other sort of departments, like the set design? And
Laura Ellis Cricks, I had actually worked with for a long time. So we hadn't worked with each other for a long time, actually, but we went to art school, and she was actually gave me my first ever job. She was working in a fashion company, and she asked me to make a film. I kind of pitched a job, and she gave me my first job.
Wow.
And then we
so quite formative for you in a way.
Yeah, completely. And then we ended up using that money to go on holiday, because we didn't have, it's the first time we got some money. Let's go on. We ended up going on holiday together and inventing loads more films. And we started just making loads of shorts together. And she ended up studying production design at National Film School, and I would always wanted to go, and she was like, why aren't you applying to film school? And so I applied. So as a result, we'd worked together for a while, and then after film school we'd done Ellen together, but we hadn't done the most recent stuff, so it's been a while. And she came back on to make this with me.
Was there any scenes or sequences in particular that were really challenging in terms of how you shot them? Maybe sort of the more stunty type actiony stuff.
I mean, so we had obviously we had the challenge of making the world flood without spending shitloads of money. Yeah. And one of the things that I had really wanted to do is equate the flood with the birth and make sure that the two things felt kind of they were the same thing. And Laura managed to pull it off. We couldn't flood the house, so she built a portion of the house to
Oh, the water seeps in.
So the water seeps in. That is the house. We put a bit of liner on and just had it was literally cups of water.
Yeah, sure.
But when it floods through the window, we built a mini set and for half a day at the end of the shoot, and got a truck to pour water through the windows of this tiny set. And for me, that was just she had to work on that whilst I was shooting and just make sure that happened. And, I was like, oh, we're actually doing it. Thank God.
Yeah.
At the end, I was so happy. So that was a challenge because there was a, could we do that? Could we actually afford to do it? All of these things were kind of up in the air for a point. And I think what else was, in terms of design, I think it was also how much of the world do we see? What do we see in the world? One thing I wanted to do was show the kind of farmland being, that kind of, I'd seen a picture of sheep on an island in a farm and kind of idea of, and so we did a tiny, you blink and you miss it, but it's there. Just this kind of feeling that it's there, but you don't, we're not focusing on it.
Yeah.
I think all of that, just world building, subtle world building that we did.
I thought the way that you did the water first coming into the house was actually one of the most effective parts of the whole film. Like it felt so original, and also really terrifying because it first of all you're looking at it from her perspective as well, which is brilliant, and it seems like a trickle. Like, oh no, we've got something wrong with the house. And then suddenly it's this kind of oh shit, there's a massive flood going on. So it was really expertly sort of put together.
Thank you.
So in terms of the editing and the post production, was there any pickups that you needed, or anything that maybe after you got into the edit you thought this might enhance the story and might sort of improve, or maybe we don't need this anymore? Any of those kind of moments?
I think actually we've got pretty much all the material in the film.
Great.
Yeah,
well, that's good. That's good. Good
like,
because
it wasn't. We didn't have loads, because of the. It was a 30-day shoot with a baby in almost every scene, so we had everything. I can't think of anything that's completely. Maybe slightly longer moments. And so there's a moment between Joel and Jodie in the cafe where part of me is like, oh, I'd love that to run longer, but it just couldn't hold in that place, But in terms of pickups, no, not for story. In the end, we actually had to get a couple more baby shots.
Okay, yeah.
So we got a baby in a studio for half a day and, picked off a couple of things that because of angles and because of timings we needed to get.
Sure. Yeah.
But, I everyone was like, when you... I always think about the pickups, but I knew we were never going to get them. So it was so frustrating. Everyone was like, it's fine, you'll get pickups. I'm not going to get pickups. So we had to fight to get what we got.
Yeah. I mean, you always have to plan as if you can't get the pickups, but then also in the back of your mind, you have to, if you need to get pickups, you should always go back if it's going to improve the film. Just
but
even
actually,
for little bits, because they can make such a big difference.
They can make such a difference. And actually, I would love the pickups one day.
Yeah.
I would love them.
Yeah. Well, maybe the next one. So in terms of the music, how was that process for you in terms of?
Oh yeah,
was it early on or was it? In the edit?
So I knew pretty early that I wanted Anna to do the music for this, because I just loved the quality of her work, and I felt that we needed something that felt quite bigger because we were going to go so intimate. We needed music that could feel bigger, like a bigger world and bolder, and not make it too introspective. I wanted it to be intimate, but not too introspective. That there was something other at play, But we started working in post, and she would deliver bits and bobs to us, and we would start to cut with that, and then it kind of grew organically. We wanted to work with. I was kind of interested in an acoustic instrument, and so she went with flute and sampled every quality of flute, whether it's the tap or the sound. She kind of built a lot out of this flute sound and then added cello in later. She's just such a brilliant collaborator as well, and she's got this kind of, she sees music in a wholly different way to a lot of people, and it's really inspiring to be about.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a very original soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
So just jumping back to how you got started in film, because it's nice for filmmakers to hear sort of what your origins are. What was it that first got you into film? How did that journey begin?
I mean, I think for me it was like I'd been taking photos since I was 7.
Oh, okay.
So I had an SLR. I got given an SLR camera. I was taking lots of pics. I've got loads of primary school pictures with it. And I was lucky in that we made a dark room in the bathroom, and I processed them. And so I had this lovely feeling for that. But then I wanted to be an actress for a bit, as a kid. So I did National Youth Theatre and things like that. And then got stage fright and realised quite quickly that was not for me, and that all my and that I actually really like telling stories, and that this kind of medium between photography and drama, and these kind of the ways through that felt like film very quickly for me. Mm-hmm. And I went to art school and studied fine art film.
Yep.
And I did I actually did a lot of animation there, and did a lot of moving camera animation, and sort of exploring kind of,
the visual world.
The visual world, and actually kind of like putting two things that don't fit together. What does that make you feel? All of that sort of thing, all that kind of experimentation,
position stuff.
Yeah. And then after that, I was so broke. Never studied fine art. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
But I knew I wanted to direct, and I was teaching filmmaking to students at school, some with behavioural difficulties and things like that. And at the same time, any money I got, I would make shorts.
Right, and that's where your shorts sort of.
Yeah, and then
you did quite a few shorts.
I made lots of shorts.
Yeah,
I made lots and lots. Some you'll never know about, but I did. I was making like £20 shorts, £50 shorts, whatever I could make.
Which I think you should do, especially when you're really starting out. Just doesn't matter how good they are. They could be great. They could be very minimal. They could be big. Yeah. But it doesn't matter whether you fail or whether you succeed. It's getting that sort of that experience in, so that when you do something with a bigger crew, you're hitting the ground running.
Yeah.
So when did that change from making shorts to your first sort of mini series breaks? How did you make that leap, and was it tough?
So I went to film school firstly. Yeah. So I think I'd made a short for like 100 quid as opposed to 20 quid, and I took it to like a short filmmaking workshop. Where a programmer would look at the short. I'd never sent my films to any festivals because I had this stupid feeling that they were terrible, which I sort of, I always feel that everything I make is terrible, so I never showed anybody. But I showed it to this short film programmer, who's Philip Ilson, and he was like, there's something here.
Great.
And that little bit of there's something here just built a little bit of confidence in me. And then I eventually applied to film school. And at film school, I made a film called Volume,
yes,
which did quite well, and it went to Sundance and other festivals, and it won a BIFA, and that opened a massive amount of doors for me.
Yeah,
and I think
Sundance is massive. BIFA's pretty good, but Sundance is it's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it was to be selected there was a big. And it was my first time in America, but not only that, in the UK, I think I got to meet a lot of people and. Who have, throughout these years of making stuff have been pretty supportive, and I was with Film 4 developing a feature that we didn't get made. And then I was broke,
Okay, so
really broke.
After that moment of sort of peak success at Sundance, there was also a trough, because it's
a massive trough.
So many people go through it, but you never hear. All you hear is just the IMDb credits and the success story, and you think, okay, well, she's made shorts, she's gone to Sundance, and now she's doing a fantastic film with Jodie Comer, and you don't see all the downs.
It's a big long period between there. So there was a film we kind of did 4 years of development on that was our baby, but for what it never quite came together. And then I got pregnant, and I needed to earn money, and then I walked into the door of this coming up thing, which is a program that Channel 4 were doing to make your first piece of TV.
Yeah.
And I got given the chance to make a 90-minute TV film called Ellen.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Which was that. And then that was great because we won a couple of BAFTAs, and it was really, and it helped me to get more television from there. But I always wanted to make film.
Yes.
That was where my heart was. But I've had it's such a...
lots of ups and downs.
Lots of ups and downs with that. So I'm it's just amazing. Anyone who makes a movie is a fucking... Sorry.
Yeah. Is courageous.
It's courageous,
for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's very inspiring to hear, and you've made an incredible film with The End We Start From.
Thank you.
Could you give some advice maybe to someone starting out or struggling or in the middle of that difficult part of the journey?
There are so many difficult parts of the journey. They're unbelievable amount. Even when it's going well, it's difficult. But I would say learn. I mean, the thing that's kept me going is that it feels like every part of the process of becoming a director or making story or writing story the joy of it has been discovering something. Discovering something new about yourself or about the process of the work. And I think that if that can be the kind of educational element of it, can stay alive, then it's all interesting. Even when it feels like it's not working, it's still interesting. And and in terms of financially, that is the difficulty. If you don't have anything to fall back on, which a lot of us don't, that's when it gets difficult. But then reach out, I think, and hopefully sometimes people catch you in those moments.
Yeah. And I suppose the stuff that doesn't work is still valuable as a learning experience.
I mean, the amount of terrible things I've made in order to try and get better it's what builds you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with the film.
Thank you.
There we go. That was Dom and Mahalia chatting all about The End We Start From. That was great. Congrats, Dom.
Thank you.
Another cracking interview. You've got all year for some of these ones you've done so far to make the top 10.
Yes.
At the end of the year.
It's going to be a fiercely contested Christmas quiz again. At the end, I think.
Yes, it will in end of 2024. Mahalia is amazing. That was just so insightful, so interesting. I loved what she was saying. About how you can do it, and she was just being very honest about filmmaking in general.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
Now you've been flooded with knowledge.
And interesting you talked about the score as well, which is, we don't talk as much about the score as we should.
I just saw it on the promo, it's like some social media, and I'd almost forgotten just how good and haunting the score is. It's a real, it gets under your skin in a good way, in a really, thoughtful, feely way.
Yes, a thoughtful, feely way. Quote by Dom Lenoir.
Shit explanation, but...
It's all good. We understood what you meant.
Emotional roller coaster. There we go.
An emotional roller coaster by Anna Meredith, the composer.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful.
Put that on our website.
So there we go. The end start. Put that on your poster, Mahalia.
Emotional roller coaster. Dom, the Filmmakers podcast. Certified idiot.
Certified idiot. Yeah, please don't put the Filmmakers podcast as a quote. Put Dom Lenoir, certified idiot. That would be much better. Amazing work, Dom. Well done.
Thank you.
Listen, Tuesday. It looks like we have Matthew Vaughn. There's no proof of this yet because we haven't recorded it, but apparently we have the legend that is Matthew Vaughn joining us to talk about Argyle. Thanks, Cole Gowdy, for setting that up. And apparently Matthew's very excited to talk to us. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the word that came back. That's what happened.
That was a surreal email to receive.
Yeah, it was. Matthew Vaughn is very much looking forward to chatting with you guys, apparently. So, yes, excellent. So that should be fun. He's amazing.
Don't blame him.
I don't blame him either, especially after this episode. Right, until next Tuesday, when Matthew Vaughn might be joining us. Then go out there and do something about your career. Do something about going out there and making your film, your TV, your documentary, your Instagram post, whatever it is. Go do it with pride and happiness. And if you're lucky enough to ride up and do well, it is your duty to
ride up. You said ride up, didn't you, instead of rise up?
I did.
Maybe ride the elevator back down.
But
press all the buttons on the elevator and then get out.
But don't flood the choke.
There we go.
The End We Start From, out in cinemas now. Go watch it. It's ace. Till next Tuesday, everyone. Take care. Bye, Dom.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.